Julia just let me know that last meeting, she got an email or a call or whatever from a resident that some councillors' mics weren't on, so remember to turn your mic on when you go to speak. All righty. All right, we're right on time, so when you're ready, let me know when it's live. Oh, is it live? Oh, very good. All right. Off we go. All right, everybody. Call our meeting to order. Welcome to our regular public council meeting in the town of Torbay for May 27th, 2024. New business, Councilor Tapper. Mike on. Condolences. Councilor Manning. Councilor Pollard. Councilor Goss.
Pass, please.
Deputy Mayor.
Condolences.
Thanks. Okay. All righty. Is there anybody here that wants to get on the first Q&A session? No? Okay. Could I get a Oh, great.
Yeah, I was just gonna say a couple of words, right? My vote now?
No, I'll write name now.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Graham. Graham Earl Roach. So you can just make a note of that, all right? Okay. All right. Could I get a motion to adopt the agenda as amended, please?
So moved.
Moved.
Second.
Seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Thank you very much. We got a set of minutes here for May 13th, 2024. Could I get a motion to adopt those, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any errors or omissions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Thank you. Conflict of interest, the sheet is there. There's 3 things out. If you have any issue there, bring it up at the time when the motion comes up. Proclamations. We have a proclamation for Recreation Month. Deputy Mayor.
Proclamation Recreation Month, whereas the community of Town of Torbay recognizes that recreation enhances quality of life, active living, and lifelong learning, helps people to live happier and longer, develops creativity and builds healthy bodies and positive lifestyles, and whereas recreation provides opportunities for personal growth and development for people of all abilities and can be especially helpful to people living with disabilities. And whereas our parks, open spaces, and trails ensure ecological sustainability, provide space to enjoy nature, help maintain clean air and water, and preserve plant and animal wildlife. And whereas recreation is an important contributor to community economic development, which creates jobs, fosters tourism, and makes communities more attractive places in which to live, learn, work, and play.
Therefore, the community of Torbay does hereby proclaim the month of June to be Recreation Month. So moved.
Second.
Comments?
I'd just like to add to that the importance and basically everything that's said in there, and that the town of Torbay, I guess, is doing this all year round, and it's great to see that June is declared Recreation Month.
Okay.
Just want to comment, recreation itself, you know, when I was growing up, if you played softball or hockey, that was it. You know, that was considered sports, recreation, but now it's everything. You go on a hike on a trail. We got beautiful trails. So I think now that the town has come a long way. We've got, you know, the community center, our facilities are excellent, so, and there's more people getting out to use them, you know, no matter if they're connected with leagues or whatever, but they're out and about, which is great. So it's good for your health, it's good for your brain, and all the more participation, the better.
That's it. Any comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. All right, presentations. Graham? Do you want to come up to the, I don't know if that mic is on. Is it on? Okay. Just haul that mic up so you can.
You want me to turn it on? Sure.
Oh, it's on already. You just gotta hit the button on the,
No, it isn't.
oh.
No, it's on.
Sometimes you just gotta jiggle the microphone down in place. And on.
I think this is good evening for me because we are on the topic of recreation. And I'm with the Royal St. John's Regatta as coxswain, coach, and years ago rower. So I just wanted to mention that we have a senior men's team in this year's regatta. And we are registered under the name of Torbay this year. Previous years we had a sponsor, but this year we just went under Torbay name because that's what the team was called dating back to the 1800s. So just to give you an idea, our fellows are training. We started training in when was it? Back in February actually. Started training. We work out at the Momentum. It's called Momentum, and it's a training center. And from then we just started at the boathouse in training on the pond in early May. So anyway, I guess the reason I'm here is just trying to see if we could get a donation for the team. We got a really good team. We're hoping our goal is to make a championship race on the Tour Day. And so, you know, we're just trying to get donation we could.
Right, so to do that, Graham, the best way to go about that is send an email. You can send it to me, and I'll forward it on to staff to process.
Okay.
And then the committee will look at it and do the
There's a
test.
motion there tonight.
Oh, is there a motion there? Well, there you go, there's a motion there already.
Okay.
So it looks like you're gonna get a donation.
Okay, that's good.
Is that all right? You didn't choose the Torbay fisherman name?
No, I don't think we got any fishermen in the boat. No.
Hasn't been too many of them in the boat for a while.
So, yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Good luck with it.
Yeah,
I'll be down to watch it.
for sure.
Yeah,
Thanks,
Hopefully we watch us in the championship.
There you go.
Excellent.
Thanks.
All
thank
right.
you.
All right. Mayor's report. I don't have any report. Business arising. Any particular issue on that anybody wants to talk about?
Just the water issue,
Okay.
and I don't know what the latest on it is, but
You're talking about the,
where we stand with, from the federal government and Great Pond and funding and whatever else associated with it.
well, Sandy's dealing with that, and I don't know, and of course he's not here, so
No.
we'll have to wait and get an update. I'm sure as he gets information, he'll send it out to us. All right, correspondence, we got none. Committees of council, planning, land use development. Councilor Pollard.
Thank you, Your Worship. 1 second now while it loads. It's creeping across the page.
Yeah.
Just on that note, can we,
We're trying to fix it,
Re-
we haven't, it's a, well on it.
I know, because I can load the other reports and they come up really quickly. I don't know
I
if it's,
know,
if it's
it's
the,
a-
it's the quantity of information or
It's a
just
document
the
setting.
way we're using it.
Yeah, and, we have to reach out to ICOM, because we at least figured out what the issue is. We hope
Okay,
that
great,
is- yeah.
thanks. We met on Wednesday, the 22nd at 9:30, actually. We did have a meeting with the council members and CAO from Logan Middle Cove Outer Cove relating to the development on 1068 Torbay Road. So we had a great conversation with them, and they expressed their concerns about it, or their, laid out their stand for their citizens, I guess. So there was some good banter back and forth, and we just agreed that we would certainly keep them in the loop in terms of what is progressing on that. So that should probably be the last thing I'm saying, rather than the first thing I'm saying, but hey, far be it from me to do things in order, hey. So motion number one, is the 1229 Torbay Road, application for an accessory building. After review, the motion to conditionally approve application C 2024-032 for approximately 93 square meter large accessory Quonset hut in the rear of the property at 1229 Torbay Road, as per the attached sketch and photo, subject to the accessory building being used for storage purposes only, and wall portions of the Quonset hut being aesthetically complementary to the main building on the lot. This approval shall exclude the use of C-cans. The approval is subject to the accessory building meeting the standard setback and building requirements of the mixed land use zone and Torbay Development Regulations 2015-2025. So moved.
Second?
Moved and seconded, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
The next relates to a Forest Landing Phase 7C residential large lot, 22 lot residential subdivision unserviced. This has been around for a period of time now, so we're willing to move the motion forward. And you'll note that after I finish the motion, there's in the guidelines and that are associated with it, there are a lot of things that need to be done in order for this to proceed to its final completion or final resting place. So motion to conditionally approve application 2024-001 for a 22 lot, up to a 22 lot residential subdivision unserviced, Forest Landing Phase C, east of Edgewood Lane, south of Cedarwood Lane and a wetland, and southwest of Tanglewood Lane in accordance with Torbay Municipal Plan and Development Regulations 2015 to 2025. More specifically, Part 4 of the Torbay Development Regulations pertaining to subdivision development, the RLL Land Use Zone Table, the Torbay Subdivision Engineering Guidelines, as well as subject to the detailed list of recommended conditions outlined in attached planning background report. So moved.
Second?
Moved and seconded, comments?
Now, this has been, I think, a little longer than would normally take for an approval, I think mainly because of the length of, from an exit. So we finally get that worked out with the developer, and as included in the guidelines that there will need to be some type of secondary exit coming out through Bullockstown Road, I think is what it is there in this one. So we're prepared to move that forward, given that they have a second way out.
Okay, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Next one is the survey for Ellard Place encroachment, for the award of a survey contract. As you know, we had conversation a while back for the road actually crossing over the ownership of a piece of property on Ellard Place, and we had to go through the evaluation of that property. So we went out to get some quotes on the actual appraisal process. So motion to award the contract to survey the Ellard Place Road right away and lands associated with the acquisition of a corner of the property at 52 Quarry Road Extension. The lowest bidder, Mitchell Esbert Surveys, for $2,271.25. So moved.
Second?
Moved and seconded, comments? It's odd, it's the first time I've ever seen us with a motion to get a surveyor. Usually we just get some.
Well, we didn't know what the price of quote was, so we went over 3 quotes anyway, right?
Okay, fine. No worries, I'm just curious. All right, any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
And the next motion is to adopt Torbay Development Regulations Amendment Number 15, 2024, RMD semi-serviced infill lot amendment in accordance with the requirements of the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000. So moved.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Comments or questions?
This has got to do with the semi-serviced infill lot amendment that we had talked about in order for us to allow to have
Oh, yes.
the infill houses on well water because of our water requirements.
Okay, good. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And the last motion is to accept the 2024 permit listings for the weeks ending May 23rd, 2024 as tabled. So moved.
Second?
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Right.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
So ends my report, Your Worship.
All right. Anybody have any questions? Thank you very much. Admin and Human Resources, Deputy Mayor.
Okay, we had our meeting on the 22nd. I have no motions in here, so if anybody's got any questions, rather than going down over it.
All right. Anybody got any questions about any items there?
I had a query rather than a question, I guess, and
Great.
only because the asset management person happened to be mentioned amongst the job postings.
Mhm.
And I'm more concerned about the actual process we're doing for asset management on side of things, so, well, which is a part of it. So if we can bring back to, I don't know what committee would be in charge, but certainly be a bunch of committees, Public Works, HR being right here now in order to, for the requirements of this capital asset management mapping technologist, and corporate services as well, planning development, all departments actually. I think we really need to get that back on tracking in to make sure that we know what we have to repair and when we have to repair it and things of that nature, because there are some motions in Public Works as well that sort of trigger questions as to what kind of condition our actual infrastructure is in moving forward. I'll just throw that out there. Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked about that, and I think Mark was waiting for some additional information to come in and hoping to get it posted within the near future, I think. The one comment, I guess, and I'd just like to add in there about the summer day camp, that there seems to be, I guess, with some of the positions that they're looking for inclusion, and to get some additional people for that. So I think Jen is working on that as well. Anyway, other than that, nobody got anything else, so,
Nope.
all
All
right,
right.
sounds
Thank
good.
you. The Corporate Services, Councillor Gause.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, the minutes are there for review and any questions afterwards, but I'll get into the motions right off the hop. For the following operating invoice totaling $49,297.94 is presented for approval. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Also, we had a committee received a request for a donation for the softball field to host Child and Youth Care Co-ed Annual Softball Tournament. This tournament raises funds to support an individual or individuals who may be in need, and organizations such as Choices for Youth, Waypoints and Key Assets, and Blue Sky. The motion reads, the committee received, as I just said, the Waypoints and Blue Sky, Key Assets. The committee, in recognition of the valuable work done by these organizations, recommends donation of the Torbay softball field for the tournament. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
And
I just throw it out there for, I know we spoke about this at budget time. I'm sorry, word, I mean.
I was just
before you-
trying to find something.
But while it's fresh in my mind, the tracking of the donations we provided, gratis for use of softball field, and that is, when we always try to put a dollar value on our value that we put out for donations and things, it's not only monetary, it's also the forgiveness of fees for rentals and things of that nature. I don't know if we're geared up to track those or keep tracking, but I just want to throw that out there for committees to keep that in mind once they're going through it, put some dollar value there, so when we do review it in budget, we might have $50,000 in types of donations and grants, but we also have donations in kind as well that we don't really, bring forward and let people know.
Right. Yep. Agreed.
Just check there, David, the third motion we talked about this afternoon.
You got an invoice totaling 49,000, you got to.
No,
No,
there
there's
was
no-
something else we spoke of today.
It's the Roman,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't see it there anywhere.
it was,
I was just going to ask you about that.
I don't know if it didn't get uploaded to the,
Do you know how
You
much
have
it
it?
is?
it didn't get up, to the.
Oh, okay.
The system was so close.
All
A
right,
request for $200.
okay. Do you have, so just make a motion, 200 bucks.
Again, with regard to the request for donation from the Torbay Rowing Club, we suggest a donation of $200 for their efforts. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, carried.
Could I speak to it?
Go ahead.
If I could.
Should have put your hand up quicker.
You were looking that way.
I was looking right at you.
No, I don't think so. No, I just wanted to, say that Mr. Roach was here, obviously, and he got a vast history on the pond at the regatta, 28 years, actually. But he's been in the boat with Torbay and a sponsor's name on the shirts or whatever. That's what they were called. And as his dream, I think, is to finally have a team together, which he does, and they're just going to use Torbay. And like he said, Torbay has been on the pond now for three centuries. So it'll be nice to see this, and he's got an excellent team. Most of the vast majority of men in the boat, they're young men. They're from Torbay, and but on top of the donation, he was asking if we as a town can maybe contribute some in-kind stuff. And actually myself and Ward met with him and talked about some ideas and threw them around. So, again, it's in kind, but it's outside the scope of this motion for $200, but I support this motion and anything else we could do to help this team.
Yep, excellent.
I'll just add to that again, like Councillor Tapper said, we did meet the other day, and when you start thinking about it, and I didn't realize till Ralph was telling me how far back rowing goes in this community. So history-wise, it's something that's really steeped in tradition here. So I too agree with Councillor Tapper that if we can find a way to do anything or something else, I'd opt for it as well.
Right, and I know that in 2022, were you there? I know I was fortunate enough to be at the induction in the Regatta Hall of Fame of Copper Top Codner. So the tradition of rowing goes back, you're right, a long ways in Torbay. So
Yep.
it's great to be able to support them.
Well, I'd like to add in there as well, anything that we can do to support them. And I know a couple of years ago, we had some hoodies and T-shirts and everything that we also had for them, gave them. That wasn't that team, but I know that it was the younger, probably the grade 12s at the time that were involved in it. So anything that we can do to help them with the sponsor. And I guess for me, I'd just like to add, there's times that we end up giving a donation, and it could be for one person from the town of Torbay participating in something, but this is an example of where we have the majority of, if not all of those people are from Torbay, and yet we're giving the same donation of $200. I think that we should be able to do something more for individuals like that, teams, that they're all from the town of Torbay, rather than giving the same amount to one. So I don't know if that's something that can be looked at, but it seems to me it's a little bit unfair when you give the same amount to one person and then the same amount to a full team. It's not, to me.
I think we had this conversation at the corporate service meeting not that long ago, actually, in terms of looking at the policy around our donations and how we're doing it, because there is that as well in terms of, like Mary had said, you give $200 for one person, and then you get more than one person on a team, and then, you know, how do you actually, you know, put values on numbers, I guess, within a certain groupings. The other thing that I will say on this from donation, I'm in full support of whatever we can do for, you know, Torbay Rowing Club. I just caution that we understand what we're getting into as well, because there's gonna be softball teams and there's gonna be other teams, the curling, for instance, right? I mean, who probably have the same request, and I'm not against that. I just like to know what that quantum looks like and what exactly our policy towards all that is gonna be. So, you know, we can certainly do what we can for the rowing team, but I think we should take it back to the table as well and find out exactly what our policy is gonna be overall on this, and go from there.
Okay. All right. Back to you, sir.
That was the last motion.
You got invoices for approval.
There was just the one.
Just one.
We did that first.
Did we already motion that? I thought
Yeah.
you motioned, okay.
Stick with her.
Sorry, I must have been not paying attention. So you're done?
I am done, sir.
Excellent, thank you.
You're welcome.
Economic development, tourism, history, culture. Councillor Tapper.
Thank you, sir. Our committee met on May the 21st. We had a fairly long meeting this time around, but it was a really good, productive meeting, and the report outlined some of the main features. Just to mention a few, under economic development, the Killycoast Food Hub. Again, this is another donation request, but they're looking for $2,000. But what we figured was, you know, we do have obviously budget limitations, so we're recommending to defer this request to the next budget cycle, and we could deal with it then. The Youth Entrepreneur Program, there's $2,500 budget to provide the following prizes: $500, $300, and $200 for first, second, and third. And there's going to be food for the event. So this is a judging at the high school entrepreneurship contest. So that's another thing that our town is involved with. Torbay wayfinding, we do we're going to have the signs installed by the end of May. They're going to be at Torbay Beach and the History House. And the web page, everybody has some concerns about our web page, but we are our staff are looking now to update that, and which will be greatly improved. Tourism, we did have our tourism workshop a month or so ago. It was well attended, and it was a great organized event by our director. Thank you, Kerry. And we had the tourism map that's been distributed and it's going to be put in places all around the town, and we're going to move them into some tourism, at the airport, those sorts of places. And we're going to have a celebration 75 for Confederation. This is going to be on Saturday, June the 29th at the History House. And under History House, just one item there I just want to mention, and thank you to Director Brian. There was some work done at the History House to get some flooring hazards corrected. And again, our attendance over at the History House is increasing now. The school is winding down. There's lots of kids from the elementary school into our exhibits and programs. So that's about it. If there's any questions or comments.
I have one. I'm gonna give my full night's worth of comments out, my full year's worth of comments out tonight, you know that. The Killycoast Food Hub, when we originally talked about that, at least I had mentioned to bring it back as a look at an economic development event rather than a donation. I'm just wondering, had we gotten any information from Portrait Coast St. Phillips in terms of the level of success and what it has done to for the local businesses, the local farmers, and that in terms of that, because To me, $2,000 is a small amount of money if it brings in some of that economic value and focuses on food first or anything along those lines. And that whole, you know, it takes a while to get that up and running, it takes a while to get that, and to wait another year seems to me that we might be better served to do it this year rather than not, so I don't know what we looked at in terms of that. Carrie?
I can speak to that.
Thanks.
Can you,
Had a lot of back and forth.
Gary, can you turn your microphone on, please?
So they're looking for $1,000 for venue rental, which is going to be St. Nicholas Hall. Some money for deliveries, a food hotline. I think the breakdown's in the letter, I can't.
It is, there is, it's
Yeah.
there in front of us.
So the food hub came out of the agricultural plan. It's an excellent initiative. I've supported it since it started. It helps the agricultural community in the Killing Coast region. I think when the committee discussed it, it went to finance, then it came back to us. We're going to put it as a ongoing line item in the economic development budget. This year, you know, unless council sees it as a different route, you know, the budget limitation was the issue. Other than that, it is an excellent initiative. That's the only thing that comes out of that agricultural plan that's a win, I think, for the region. And it supports local agriculture, local producers, all throughout the Killing Coast and beyond. I mean, I think there are businesses that bring their products to that that organization to sell them, and they have it's totally accessible online and in person.
Do we know how many incremental businesses we would get on it than presently exist?
There's, every local producer, I think, within the Killing Coast is using the food hub. The number, I mean, they haven't opened yet for this year. I think they're opening in the next couple of weeks. I mean, the logistical piece is quite significant, you know, to get all local producers together and get their product lined up on the sell and that sort of thing.
I have a question. Is there a way that we could do, how often do they have it? It's weekly or monthly?
Yeah, they'll, once it goes live, you can go so you pre-order what you want, you go through the site, you order, you know, the products that you want, and you pick them up on a certain day. I think the problem, it did get quite popular last year. They only had one pickup center, which was Tilt House Bakery. So they're looking to get another location here, and I think they've had discussions and are going to be St. Nicholas Hall. They need space, number one, and they need refrigeration, which that location provides.
Could we do it at the Common in the community rooms?
Never looked into that, I don't know, but I can certainly do that.
Because there's much space there, right? And there's refrigeration and there's stove or whatever else that they might need.
Yeah, they just need space, storage space, and stuff that needs to be refrigerated or frozen.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
But I can certainly look into that.
when we do it at the Common, and this goes back to our in-kind stuff, right? Like we could potentially be able to do it in the community rooms without having to charge that money and be able to do it this year. My thoughts. I guess we could take it back and have a look at it. Good?
I mean, $2,000 to me seems like a small price tag to, if there's benefit to, you know, existing farmers and agricultural folks here in Torbay itself, this gets a chance to put their products online, actually get them delivered in Torbay, that type scenario, like, you know, when you look at the Post Half House where they're using, you know, Tor Bakery for their bread and that type thing, so there's a
Yeah.
whole bunch of interconnectivity for the businesses here to be able to
Yeah,
come
agreed.
together, so if we can take that back to the table and take a look at it and see if,
Sure.
I find it hard to say we can't find that $2,000.
$2,000, we have a number of different things, though, that have come up recently that we can't find funding for, and to give 2,000 to one group without putting it in. I mean, we discussed that at length at our committee, and we felt that that was the best thing. And even if we knew what the situation was later to fall with regards to donations, you know, like we just gave $200 to a group here for the rowing and that, and it's a full team, so I think there's a lot more discussion. And to say that we were going to bring it back and put it on, give it its own GL for next year, I think that that's also a good recommendation and what the mayor is suggesting. Even the upper three-corner building in there is another place that's not used as frequently, that probably, I know it's a bit more out of the way, but anyone using the bypass road, it's not too bad, so.
All right, good?
So what's the takeaway?
I guess we're gonna have to explore.
We just review it again, explore
Yeah.
more information and see
More
where it goes and, you know.
See if we can
you know,
do something
if
in
it's next
kind.
year, if it's next year, maybe it's gotta be next year as well, but,
All right.
you know, let's understand what we have there and see if there's some value in moving forward.
Right, the only point I would make to that is this agriculture plan was something that the town of Torbay partnered with Portrait Coastie Phillips and with other ones. So it's not like a donation request. It's following through on our partnership and carrying through and doing the things that we said we were gonna do in that agricultural plan. So to Kerry's point, if this is the only thing that we do, it's a good thing. Okay. All right, infrastructure and public works. Councillor Goss.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We met on May 22nd, myself, Councillor Appleby, and Director Brian. Again, the notes and the are there for any review and questions. We do have one motion to proceed with. The motion reads, motion to award the engineering portion of the culvert replacement project to WSP in the amount of $19,618 plus HST. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions? All in favor? Aye.
All right.
Opposed? Carried.
And again, sir, there's there for any questions. Fire away.
There's two motions, Ward, sorry.
Is there a second one?
One was the CIP required and one was the motion to award the engineering culvert.
That's the old package, Councillor Pollard.
Yep, there is.
It was moved to one motion.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Where do I get the whole package when I go on and pull it up?
You must have it open
Actually, the first time I opened it up, there was two, and then the second time I opened it up, there was just the one. So just had to refresh.
See it.
You mean I'm commenting on all the wrong things? Jeez.
I-
Start again?
Does anybody have any questions? I have one. Carry on.
And something to add there as well too. If I could, before you ask that question, I just wanted to talk about the bulk cleanup as well that we had the past weekend. On the weekend prior. Just to let you know, the kind of statistics that we had in 2021, we had 551 drop-offs, 2022, 451. 2023, we had 518, and this year we had 317. So a little bit less. It's possible where it was the long weekend, but I think more so the people are probably just getting ready a little bit earlier in the spring and dropping stuff off to Robin Hood Bay and so forth. Also, there were 9 groups out on the Saturday for the team up cleanup around the town, so that was great to see as well.
Excellent. Go ahead.
I just have one thing to add, I meant to mention to you. For the phantom midges at the, at North Pond, we did have an update there, but I had something to add to that today. I got, there's some, biologists coming down from Mon on Thursday to take some samples from the pond. So they're going to take some samples of the plankton, she called them, which phantom midges eat apparently. And they're also going to take some soil samples just to see what's going on in the pond over the last 20 years or whatever. So, so we're still moving ahead on trying to figure exactly what's going on there.
And we haven't had any more reports on.
We haven't found any, no. And we're starting our hydrant flushing this week as well. I should have mentioned that as well, sorry.
Yeah.
But, so that should flush anything that's in the system should come out the other side, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, the question I was gonna ask was about the, Brian, where are we to with the Forest River to Bypass Road Trail? Are we still?
So when I got back off vacation, I reached out to our solicitor and ended up that he was on vacation. So I just got an email back from him late last week. So he's going back into it now So I'm gonna discuss that with committee at the next time around, so we can see where we're going there.
Okay.
Currently, we're still up to Albatree Corner, picking away at the trails up there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to know. I get asked about it all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Recreation and Community Services. Counselor Manning.
Okay, we held our meeting on Tuesday, May the 21st. Minutes are all there. Just I'll point out a couple of things. The summer camp registration, of course, was sold out in 8 minutes with a total of 480 spots. Still a few spots in the sports camp, which is offered for the ages 11 to 14. Everything, I'm not going to touch on everything there. I'll also mention that work is being done on the playgrounds, the playgrounds have been inspected and are now open to the public, so that's good. The outdoor fields are being looked at and worked on as we speak, more or less. And other than that, we're looking at a youth advisory committee. The staff are meeting with the school in hopes to develop a plan for youth committee or involvement for September month. And other than that, everything else is whatever's there in the minutes. I don't know if anyone has any questions.
I had a quick question,
Yeah.
actually, and I don't know where Councillor Jen is not here. Did you talk about, I was just wondering how the website worked out this year. Did that come up in conversation?
No.
Okay,
No.
I'll ask Jen, no worries about it.
With the registration and stuff?
Yeah,
Now, that was incorrect for me to say no. She did say it ran this year a lot better than
Cool.
other years,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was just curious because I
Yeah.
know we ran into some headaches last year.
Yeah,
It's good to see.
no, and that hasn't been, there was no indication of that this year.
Good, thank you.
I think typically with that, new users tend to have issues. People that are used to it.
The comments I got last year from people trying to sign up, like having one kid registered and then get kicked out on the second kid. So it wasn't about the user, it was just about that we didn't have a good system at the time. But I think it's, a lot of those things have been rectified.
Excellent.
Yep.
All right.
The fact, though, that it sells out in 8 minutes, I know there was a lot of parents that were really upset that they never got there. And I guess everybody has heard that comment. Somebody had to go in and reset their password, and by the time they got in and got out again, there was no opportunity. And I think both of us probably talked to somebody that, former counselor, that had some issues and ran into that problem. They spoke to the director, I mentioned it
Okay.
to you too, Councillor Manning, that if somebody ran into that problem, then they automatically didn't get an opportunity. So, I don't know, for the fact that the run out that quick in 8 minutes, 480, says about the demand there and, you know, how we go about doing it. I know in the past we had a discussion if a child could be registered for the full summer or give other opportunities to people and have them for a couple of weeks at a time so that additional children get the opportunity to participate in it rather than some for the whole summer. So there's different things that probably we need to look at, seeing that the demand is so high. And I've already talked to Jen about that as well, but there is, I guess, people, and other people said, like, if they're working, they can't go in there at that particular time. So there's a few things like that get other people to be able to avail of it.
Two things, I guess that sounds more like a numbers thing than a systems thing. If it sells out that quickly, obviously demand is there for, you know, some enhanced version probably, or whatever, or, I won't say higher price, but, you know, like I say, you know, supply and demand. Anyway, but the Government of Canada summer jobs, I know we requested 36,000, we're approved for 26. Is that going to impact what we're doing, or are we covering that off through our budget? Anyone know offhand?
I don't know.
Maybe that's Jen, sorry, I know I
Yeah,
wouldn't expect that.
We'll have to make a note of that and
Yeah,
we'll follow
I
up
don't
on this
know.
next meeting.
And same with the age-friendly communities, we also asked for 15, got approved for 65, so I'm assuming that's easy enough to address through programming, but I don't know about the summer camp.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Sorry about that.
Liaison committees, Atlantic Mayor's Congress, I don't have any update. intergovernmental affairs. I did had a conversation with MHA Wild recently about the intersection at Marine Drive and Torbay Road. He did get a email of concern from a Torbay resident who had an accident there, and he's following up with that with the department. So he did forward on the email to myself, and I think Deputy Mayor might have been talking to one of the residents who was involved in that. So he's working on that.
To add to that, Mayor, I had the opportunity the other day to meet with the other person that was involved in that accident. And I asked them to do the same thing in sending an email, like her car was completely demolished. And just by going across the road, and anyway, so I guess it'll get to the point, and a lot of what was said in that letter were similar comments that she made to me.
Yep.
So obviously something has to be done somewhere along the way with it. And the other thing, while you're looking at that out further with that yield sign or something out there on Torbay Road, because that's another one behind Piper Stock Hill, coming in where the 2 lanes go down to 1.
They added an additional sign there that says left lane ends, so people should know that by now.
Yeah, but it's the people that are passing everything by and then putting on the brakes to turn down Middle Cove Road is the worst things there, right? That's happening, so,
I think the size of the signs,
yeah.
they're not big enough.
No, they're
You know,
really
because
not.
people come up there and they're sailing.
Mm.
They're not looking to the right for a sign.
Yeah, true.
Yep, so I'm sure that Jody will be hearing about that. Jack Byrne Regional,
No update.
update, okay. Northeast Avalon Joint Council,
No update.
Royal Newfoundland Constabulary, update. They were here to meet with us before our meeting tonight. We had a good discussion around various issues in the town. Speeding primarily was one that we were talking about. ATVs on the roadways. The number of patrols that they do down here. We talked about field parties that are happening. They have been doing a lot of patrols here. So we did talk about it, and I want people to keep an eye out for in the next, hopefully in the near future, we're gonna have a public meeting for residents with the RNC. They're gonna provide us with some statistics from our area in regards to their patrols and how many infractions that they encounter, number of calls that they're getting from our town. They did reiterate that, I guess for lack of a better word, squeaky wheel gets the grease in terms of resources being allocated. So I want to encourage people to make sure that if they see something, please don't just go post it on Facebook and start a big old conversation about stuff. Give the RNC a call. You can actually call Crime Stoppers if you see somebody driving recklessly, whether it's with a car or ATV or a dirt bike or whatever. If you know who it is, you can call in to Crime Stoppers anonymously, make the complaint, tell them who it is. The RNC will follow up with that person. If you know it's your neighbor 3 doors down the road, it's your kid that's buzzing up and down your road all the time, not being safe. If you tell them, they will go and they will knock on the door and advise the parents. So let's not, waste all of our resources and our time complaining about everything on a Facebook page when there's more concrete things that we can do. Call the RNC, report it to the town. We will call the RNC as well or send them emails. Once we're not gonna call them about one incident. I talked to Sergeant Slaney, and he advised me, if you got one incident, get the person to call in themselves. If you're getting a bunch of complaints about a particular area, that we as the town can reach out to him personally with the list of these issues in those areas, and they will address them. So, they're here. we might not always see them, but they are in the area, and they did a blitz here last week in 2 school zones, gave out a lot of tickets. People, you know, slow down, particularly in those school zones. If you're speeding in the school zone and you're going 60 and it's a 30, you're gonna get a whopper of a ticket. And they are not afraid to dish them out. So, all right, Torbay Volunteer Fire Department, Councilor Manning.
No update there right now.
Okay. Urban Municipalities Committee, I don't have any update. Last time we met was at Symposium in Gander. Our next meeting is coming up in August in the town of CBS. Alrighty, notice the motion we gotten on new business, Councilor Tapper.
I just wanted to mention, obviously, I think everybody was impacted when former Councillor Roach, a longtime councillor, passed away. Unfortunately, I was out of town when the funeral was scheduled. But again, I was on council with Peggy for a few years, to say the least, and she did her work, and she was dedicated to, and she did a lot of work on the provincial level as well, attending conventions and whatever. She was a dedicated parishioner with the Roman Catholic Church, and with leadership roles in that as well. So she was just one of those people who, you know, had a lot of interest in our community, dedicated to our community. Although she was born in St. John's, she moved and married in Torbay and spent many a year here. So everybody's going to miss her.
Yep, well said. Deputy Mayor.
Almost fast. Well, getting into some of the comments that Councillor Tapper made, I've passed along my condolences to the Roach family as well. I definitely served for a long time with former Councillor Roach. I'd like to say a big thank you to the fire department, the CWL, and to any of the councillors that participated in it. I think that it was a really nice touch in the church, and she would be so proud of the send-off she had, and that we were able to use the chambers here for the reception afterwards. That went over extremely well, and I guess with Mayor Scott and MHA Wall and Lucy Stoyles, that the words and the comments that were made were really touching. And Father Paul, I thought, did an exceptional. He usually does really well at his homilies and that in the when anybody passes away. But I guess that the difference was the fact that he knew the individual, but he hit home basically on everything. So anyway, I'm glad that it worked out the way that it did, and that she got the send-off that she deserved.
Yep. Well said. And I am going to take just a couple of minutes to talk about Peggy. She was on council when I got here. Sat right there. Ralph would know better than me because she was there when he was 8. I don't know how many years she sat there, but that was her spot. And, you know, I sat in that gallery for better part of 4 years before I ran for council. And when I got on council, Peggy, I didn't know how she was going to take me. Not too many members of the council really liked me that much when I first got on there. And she said to me, she said, "Don't you come in here now thinking you knows everything." And then after about 3 weeks, once we were done our training and all that kind of stuff, she said to me, she said, "Oh my God, I didn't," she said, "You know, there's a lot of stuff about what's going on." I said, "Peggy, that's because I sat here and watched you guys for a long time to figure out and learn, and not come in here with thinking I knew everything." And she said, "Yep, you can be here for 20 years and you'll never know everything." And I said, "Absolutely right." And but I always felt that Peggy was the conscience of council. She always did what she thought was the right thing, and you know, she really was an advocate for residents, and she knew Robert's rules, and she knew the processes, and she knew how things were supposed to be done. And you know, I give her a lot of credit for that. And you know, she worked hard. She did her job, and she was really fun to be around, and I really enjoyed her. She used to call me her little boy, so I didn't, I didn't mind, but, I love Peggy, and she loved representing the town. And I know that in her last term, I had an opportunity, I gave to her to go to the Atlantic Mayor's Congress in Campbellton, New Brunswick. And it just so happened at the time, Lucy was also going to represent the town of, or city of Mount Pearl. And she absolutely loved it. When she came back, she thanked me so much, said that was probably one of the best short conferences that she'd ever gone to. And she loved to represent the town. And she did it through municipal assessment. I don't know, she was on everything. Anything that was on the go, Peggy was part of it, and she was a good contributor, and I always, when I go around different towns and different things, people all knew Peggy. She was around so long, and she was on these committees, and she contributed, and you can't ask any more of a person. When they go at something, they go at it 100%, and that's how she was. And I'm gonna miss her, and I know her family is gonna miss her, and that was the things that were most important to her. Whatever job she signed up to do, she did it, and her family. So I'm gonna miss her. I thank her for her service to the people in the town of Torbay. And I thank the deputy mayor and in particular Lucy Stoyles, who organized everything for Peggy's funeral and after gathering that we had here. It was very nice, and I think the family really appreciated it, and her friends really appreciate it. So thank you, Mary. You did great. All right, and I had one other thing I wanted to do. I wanted to thank, as usual, I want to thank council for your work that you put in the last couple of weeks, and in particular our staff, that everybody steps up when somebody else is out of town, or we got a position that we haven't filled yet. Looking at you. Thank you very much. And to our staff that worked the community cleanup, thank you. I know that went on up Saturday, I must have went up there at all the time, it was gonna rain, freaking poured. I got out of my truck to unload it, and I was soaked to the skin, and I know the staff were laughing at me too. But, thank you to them for doing that, working in that kind of weather. And also, thank you, Brian, for sending our staff down to pick up the the clippings and stuff that the graveyard committee had picked up and piled up. So that's it. I got nothing else to say, except thank you to those people that had participated in the Torbay cleanup. It's nice. And Ward, the reason that the numbers are down at the drop-off, because people are keeping less crap around. That's what I'm hoping. They're getting rid of it beforehand. All right, Q&A. Does anybody have a question they want to ask? No, good, very good. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I put in an application on May 8th,
Yeah.
build a min home.
Bill of what?
Property, a min home on my property, mini home,
Mini home, okay.
okay,
Yeah.
on my property. Like I said, that was on May 8th, and it wasn't payable here tonight, and it wasn't payable last week. Wondering if anything,
Julia?
what reason that it wasn't payable?
Okay, Julie can speak to that.
We didn't have a phone number, we were gonna phone you, so I'm gonna, if you wanna wait, I'm gonna get your contact information because, there are certain particulars we have to discuss with you.
Well,